Coconut water with an INTP. Can you even read it? Anyway, so today I wanted to. Sorry, yes, there we go. Today I wanted to talk about what I find so different about INTPs and INFPs from the rest of the personality type. I think what's so special about an INFP and an INTP. This is just from my observation, what I've noticed. In real life, I've seen um, three to four INTPs. Sorry, only two INTPs and a couple of INFPs. So it's like I don't know so much in reference to the real world, but I mean, who even lives in the real world? It's all about the internet, right? So usually, and I've also seen this like through people online. I've seen so many videos about INFPs and INTPs, and I'd say most personality types in general. But I just wanted to talk about being what I think is something that's special and different about INFPs and INTPs. I think it's pretty like it can be understood that INTPs and INFPs are more different compared to the other personality types because they don't perceive the world in the exact same way, and they're just different in general. But this one thing that I've noticed, and I respect so much about these personality types, is hope. Most people, they don't tend to question things, whereas the INTP and INFP do exactly that. All they do is question. They question. They're so curious. They're amazing. And that's what I think it's so special. I've seen. So we've got this type of personality, which is. So we've got the INTP and INFP who, they seem to question a lot, which, as I've said again, I appreciate. And today I'm just going to be talking about the hope aspect. So I have two very close INTP and INFP friends. One was in my previous video, and the other one, hopefully I can get her on. But the other day I was having a conversation with, let's call this person R, who's an INTP. So R and I were having a conversation about how everything is so different and how we think in such a different manner compared to the rest of the people around us. And she was telling me about how she was so clueless about these other people who also thought in a similar way that she did, but she just didn't realize that. And we were talking about loneliness and like hope and stuff. But the one thing that I realized was that our way of gaining hope about stuff is so much more different than the others. I feel the reason that INFPs and INTPs are so inclined, are usually not religious, is because, again, they question everything, and religion doesn't have a definite answer. And I know nothing really has a definite answer, but the one thing that I still remember had been enforced in me since I was a young kid was God, and pray to God, and God made you, and you made, and it was basically just this endless cycle of people telling me how much I should love God, and I never really understood that because how do I know who God is? Now I am into religion, but that's for a completely different set of reasons, which makes me seem completely crazy to a certain extent in my head. But anyway, that's completely different. So yeah, So from what I have noticed, it's the way everyone, or it's the way INTPs and INFPs acquire hope for themselves. So as I said, from what I've seen, the normal, general things, the conventional things, are not something that give them hope. And when people believe in the outside world more than they believe in themselves, the in a very odd way, the INTP and the INFP, they can't give up control on themselves. So they may give up. I know this. I feel like this doesn't make any sense, but just hear me out. So the INTP and the INFP, they hope within themselves. They have faith within themselves rather than the world around them. It's because how they can do that is because the only thing that they know definite is themselves. And I'm not saying other personality types don't do that, but all I'm saying is that the INTP and the INFP, from my observations, are more likely to do those things. I think it's great. It's, and I feel like more often than not, that phrase was completely unnecessary. But I think for the most part, INTPs and INFPs are very, very, what do you say? Can't think of words. Why aren't words coming to my head? They're very, god damn it. They're very, 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 shit. What are they? They are extremely independent. I don't know why it took me so long to think of that word, but they're very independent. So they focus on themselves rather than they focus on the outside world. Because if you think about it, I was talking to R about this yesterday, and she was like, the only thing that I know that exists is me. And you would have heard that quote saying, I think, therefore I am. And it basically just talks about how the fact that you can think for yourself is something that makes you you. At least that's my interpretation of it, and hers and ours to another level. But what I'm just basically trying to say here is that what I really like about the INTP and the INFP is that they don't follow the normal convention. They have questions, they don't pray, they don't follow religion because they have to. They question things and they believe in themselves rather than they believe in everyone else. So they usually don't see the need to believe in all these other things because the only thing they can find hope in is, in fact, themselves. Thank you. I feel so professional. I'm sorry you had to go through around 9 minutes of me just trying to explain what the one last line was in my head. But drink coconut water with watermelon. That's not that bad. I've had better things though.